Welcome back, or welcome to Rewired Bites. Real talk on food, body, weight loss surgery, and recovery without the sugarcoating. It's very hot in Australia. I have Melbourne. I have to do more regular vlogs because no one's going to believe that my first bariatric consult, I was 133 kilos. Oh, I'm Kim, by the way, counsellor in training, NDIS recovery coach, sharing lived experiences and professional insights into food addiction, weight loss, and mental health. Sometimes I will share topics that may be triggers for those living with disordered eating. However, I will always give a clear notification at the start of the vlog and a reminder before diving into the sensitive content. So you can choose what's safe for you to watch, or maybe just find a pet to pat. Disclaimer, I'm not yet a fully qualified master of counselling, so my content is for education purposes and peer support. What are you doing? Oh, did you hear my cat? For education purposes and peer support only, and is not a substitute for fully qualified medical or mental advice. Please seek professional support if you need clinical care. Well, earlier this week was my final bariatric consult, and it was informative. It cleared up misinformation, disinformation, some things I'd been told by friends and from YouTube vlogs. I was a bit blurry on, but now I'm pretty clear. My surgeon started with examining my gastroscopy. Link to my gastroscopy vlog at the end of this, and my biopsy results and my blood work and my meds. And then he gave me a full rundown of what to expect before, during, and after surgery. And I'm about to share the highlights, because if you are heading towards weight loss surgery, whether it be sleeve or gastric bypass, this information is exactly what I wanted to know, what to expect. I got that for me personally, but there is a piece of advice I think I need to stress for you before you head down that route. But back to the consult. My surgeon initially checked my stomach for bumps because he said that they can actually lead to ulcers, and I already had a node in my gastroscopy, which I should have asked more about at the time, but I didn't. So yeah, that could turn into more serious things. He reviewed my blood work, mostly the vitamin ranges. Most were good, except the cholesterol. Surprise, surprise. But what was surprising was my B12 was too good, which is odd for a vegan, no? He made a point to inquire as to whether I had any reflux from the meal replacement. I don't know whether that was to check whether I was on the meal replacement, or specifically whether I had a history of reflux, but I don't know. Probably the reflux. My meds were reviewed and yada yada. And then he inquired as to whether I was a smoker, a vapor, and then smoothed his way into asking about my success with the CPAP machine. I had been whining about that machine to him, and see, I've had a history of pulling it off just before going for a wee, going for the wee, coming back to bed and just not bothering to put it back on. So, and other issues like my husband hearing it in the middle of the night. But I did tell him that my CPAP and I were now playing nice, and that I had been using it religiously, which was predominantly in response to my surgeon flat out stating no CPAP, no surgery. So he asked if I had been managing. What are you doing now? Sorry, my cat again. She's going to jump up in any minute. I told him I'd been doing it for, just say hello, say hello. Oh, hello people. Hi. That I'd been doing it since our last consult, And he did advise that basically I had to have been doing it for 6 weeks or he wouldn't even book a surgical date. I was asked about whether I had located a suitable psychologist, and I had advised that I had located one that not only was suitable, but that was she specializes in eating disorders and also has taken me through my childhood experiences with food and also my patterns of restriction and binging. We have used the initial mental health care plan up now, so my doctor has extended it in the hopes of obtaining an eating disorder care plan, which will go for 20 weeks thereafter, which is really important because especially navigating the common issues that patients are confronted with almost straight after surgery. And in my own situation, this is nostalgia. It's the loss of the experiences that I have relied on and enjoyed with my mates in my local pub. And I will link a little tiny cute little thing of my pub in, maybe I will, I'm not sure, that might be triggering to me. Then then my surgeon then detailed the specifics of the sleeve operation, just in case I hadn't been thinking about it every single day since our last consult. I'll be in hospital for 2 to 3 nights. 3 nights depending on my pain levels and how well I am able to tolerate fluids. I hear tell that the gas that they do fill you up with is particularly brutal with the bloat when you awake. After discharge, the psychologist and the dietitian or the nutritionist become the most integral part of your plan, and they're the ones who keep you out of hospital and on track for the long term. I can't talk right now, I'm so hot. My surgeon printed out the diagram of the stomach from his computer screen and walked me through the sleeve again. There is no stapling, there is just stapling and not joining like gastric surgery. So just stapling, not joining. And it gets reshaped into a tube, and stomach is removed from the fat and the vessels until it looks like a sleeve. But I have heard it explained as more of a cheese stick, which is bloody gold. The largest incision on the belly is actually only 1.5 centimeters, which is not an issue because they'll look like capital cities on the Melway map that is my belly. So what are the risks of the surgery? Bleeding, clotting, and in rare cases, a surgeon does need to pivot from the laparoscopic, into a opening you up. Laparoscopic. So the keyhole surgery. I'm not going to worry at the expense of preparing because they do this operation a few times a week in my public hospital. So my surgeon then went through the nutrition from week 3 out from surgery. The menu is 2 meal replacements a day plus loads of hydration. And weeks 2 and 1 out of surgery, so for 2 weeks the menu narrows to 2 meal replacements in the form of shakes. I think that's because after you have surgery you end up on a liquid diet, but you can have a small serve of veggies as well, plus lots and lots and lots of hydration. So my surgeon called the dietetics unit and got an appointment for me so that I could go in deeper to the pre and post-op diets. But what does recovery look like for those of you who decide to go with a sleeve? 1 in 4 patients experience significant reflux. However, anti-reflux meds usually resolve the issue. But there is a small cohort that may require a bypass after their sleeve surgery. I actually met one when I was waiting to have my consult. There's no driving for 1 or 2 weeks following the surgery, no straining your abdominal wall, no lifting. The straining does include going to the loo, by the way, so I don't know, maybe laxatives, I don't know. At 6 weeks, there are no restrictions if all goes well. Nutritional deficiencies are rare with the sleeve compared to the gastric bypass. And the numbers look good. I was told, get this, are you ready? 95% of sleeve patients lose at least 25% of their excess weight. And 75, that'll be me, lose approximately, well, can lose at least 50% of their excess body weight. It's just crazy. The final part of the consult, we went over my conditions, autoimmune diseases, 3 of them. I was asked about blood thinners, which was not applicable to me because I'm not on them. One medication that I do need to pause 2 weeks before surgery is Plaquenil, so that it doesn't clash with the anesthetic. So be sure to be upfront with any changes to either your meds or your supplementation, because it is the small details that can derail your surgery in a major way. I signed the consent, agreed to a blood transfusion if needed, and was told to bring my CPAP machine and a shaker on surgery day. But the detail that resonated with me, and the one that I want to point out, highlight, underscore, italicize, was that my surgeon said that I had actually progressed myself to ready for surgery by doing the 3 things from the very first session. Those were, just to remind you, using my CPAP, seeing a suitable psychologist the whole way through, and also the meal replacement. That proactive approach actually fast-tracked me to allowing me to get this surgery in that period of 2025. And now my surgery is booked for November the 18th, which lines me up for no restrictions for the first week of 2026 and the closing of the worst year of my life, even if I do live to be 100. So if you're considering any weight loss surgery, my advice is simple: be proactive, do the prerequisites asked of you early, get the CPAP lined up, use it for at least 6 weeks, get a psychologist that preferably does deal with eating disorders, and go on your meal replacement. It's not hard. It positions you at the front of the line. And I have now 2.5 weeks to go, so I'm super excited. I will keep you updated every step of the way. And if you've got questions about the final consult or the sleeve prep, please drop them in the comments, because I might actually cover your particular query in a future vlog, because I might feel that it is applicable to a wider audience. But I'll also answer you too. And I've recalled each component of my consult almost verbatim, because my surgeon was gracious enough to permit me to film myself, on the condition that I don't actually place that footage on social media. But still, in transcription, meaning can be lost, and any decision making should be talked through with a surgeon or someone more qualified than a counsellor in training. And I'm not belittling myself, by the way. I'm just saying it's a wise thing to do. As always, thank you so much for your precious time, and for following my bariatric story on Rewired Bites. And I'm looking forward to being one of your resources, if you will permit me. I hope you have a fantastic day, and peace out.